One, two, three, the lawn feed.
Welcome back to another episode of the Lawn Feed Podcast. I'm your host tonight, Vince with Rooter Lawn Co. And with me is only Andrew, the Dad Bod Lawn tonight. Chris has, I don't think he's coaching, but he's watching some soccer right now.
Youth soccer.
You know, and it's like 8:45 at night, and he's out there on the fields. It's only like 7:45 his time, but
Yeah.
still, that's a late game.
It's hot and humid too.
Yeah.
God bless them.
But thank you guys for tuning into another great episode. We are going to talk about a hot topic, and a hot topic to try and keep you or your lawn cooler. We're talking about watering the lawn, drought prevention, products that can help with drought prevention, and a little bit more.
Absolutely. And we should actually thank some friends over at Twin City Seed as well for powering this episode and season of the Lawn Feed Podcast. Twin City Seed offers elite quality and custom blends of grass seed to homeowners, turf professionals, and more. Home of Resilience 2, Blue Resilience, and Builder's Choice blends. And by the time this comes out, I think the After Dark series will also be available. So make sure you check those out. Shipping to all 50 states. Check them out at twincityseed.com. And make sure you take a look at the banner on their website for current specials and offers alongside codes for free shipping for your next project. And make sure you use code LawnFeed10 for 10% off. Unless they got a better code that's on their website for 15. But yeah.
You know, that After Dark series is pretty impressive. I just did a reel. So if you guys go to my Instagram, I just did a reel on this, on the After Dark series as well. But I have Nightfall, which is Kentucky Blue and Perennial Rye for the darker series. And it's insane. It's a wild emerald green.
You want to know something kind of funny? I repaired just a spot in my lawn when I tore up my septic to get it pumped last year. I had to repair a little bit, and I forgot that I used Tough Turf After Dark. And so when I'm sitting in my living room looking down at my lawn, I'm like, why is that a little bit darker right there? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's the After Dark series doing its thing.
My neighbor, we did a renovation last fall, and he did the Tough Turf After Dark. And my neighbor, his buddy around the corner, did just regular Tough Turf, and the difference is insane.
Wow.
Like it's wild. So
Cultivar
I've been telling
matter.
it does. And the cool thing is, like, they both they both maybe fertilize their lawn, like I think they did like once this year.
Mm-hmm.
And the After Dark is just deep green.
It's just
Meanwhile,
natural.
the regular Tough Turf looks great. It's an awesome blend, but it just looks like a hungry lawn at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's a cool feature about these After Darks is, like, you don't need to be putting down tons of nitrogen down. Like, I think I'm barely at a pound this year, which is insane for Kentucky bluegrass and stuff. So anyway, be excited for that. Be on the lookout for that. But we also get to go through some dad's wins and losses, because we got to celebrate the wins and the losses of parenting. But it's brought, but there's a mess up. That's all right. It's late at night, right? Mm-hmm. But our dad's wins and losses is brought to you by Big League Lawns. You can transform your lawn into a visual masterpiece with the Checkmate striping kit. Effortlessly create stunning professional grade stripes and add depth and dimension to your yard. Head over to bigleaguelawns.com to get yours and score a discount code with GRASS15 for a whopping 15% off your order. These stripe kits are no joke. Whoa.
Sorry.
Was that Chris?
Chris.
What were you going to say, Chris?
I don't know. Chris, go ahead.
Where we tap into who we are at heart. Dads! This is Dad's Wins and Losses, where we tap into our inner dad bod father figures and highlight some of the recent wins we've experienced as parents, and of course, vent about the embarrassing losses we take each and every day as dads.
I love you, Daddy.
Sorry, I didn't realize that you were going to ad-lib at the end there and keep talking about Big League Lawns. I think it's a great follow-up conversation to what the After Dark series, because you're striping After Dark series grass, and them are some dark stripes.
You know, the unique thing about it is, like, we have sponsors and stuff, and we talk about brands and at the beginning of the show, but it's all stuff that is it's all great, and it just speaks to us DIYers. We want to stripe our lawns, we want a dark green lawn. So I could go on all day about that, but
for geeks,
let's get into your win and a loss.
Yeah, so my son's going to be the highlight of both for this. We're going to start in chronological order, and the loss came a couple weekends ago. We had a graduation party to go to at the end of our road. My road dead ends into a lake, and it's kind of a downhill from my house to the house we were going to at the end of our road. And it's an open house party. You know, everybody has like the outside, the big tents in the backyard and tables underneath it and all that stuff, right? Well, this house has kind of a longer driveway, and it's downhill for us to get to the house on this driveway as well. And my wife and I are walking, and my son and daughter are riding their bikes. And my son still has training wheels. He's 4, and he's not the best with braking or turning while going fast. If he's going, it's a speed wobble sometimes. So I was telling my wife, because he was riding his bike and he was pedaling fast like a maniac, but at the same time, he's taking the handlebars and jerking them back and forth as he's riding, like he's trying to catch up to his sister who's on a 2-wheeler. And I'm like, this kid's going to fall. And she's like, if he falls, he falls. I go, now's not the time. I want to get to this open house, enjoy myself, have a couple of beers and some tacos. I don't want to be dealing with crying kids. And so we get all the way there. The kids are on the driveway. We're walking, so we're a little ways behind them. And we're like, slow down, slow down. And my son and daughter are going down this driveway, which is fairly steep. And it just kind of like goes along the side all the way to the side of the house into the backyard. And then it dead ends in the grass. And right along the driveway, basically in the backyard, is this giant tent full of people. And here my son is going down this hill, going faster and faster and faster with the speed wobbles, and gets right to the end of the driveway and doesn't quite make it to the grass and wipes out on the cement 20 feet from this tent where there's like 50 people. And so here I am, Dad, kind of jogging down the driveway with my bad knees. I'm like, oh shit, it happened. And by the time I got down there was a couple of other adults from the party already tending to him, making sure. And I think he was more embarrassed than anything, but he was a little beat up. But yeah, we literally crashed that party. So yeah,
what an entrance,
pun intended there. But he has since recovered. All of his scrapes and bruises are fine. His handlebars are straightened back out. And my win comes from tonight. As you know, Vince, and if you guys follow me on social media, you'll see it by now. I installed a couple of golf holes in my newly renovated real mode area, which is only like an inch tall. So it's like a fairway, shaggy fairway. But I wanted to be able to chip to it, do some fun stuff with the kids. And my son was out there with me while my daughter was at dance class tonight. And we spent a good half hour, 45 minutes out there, just him and I. And I was teaching him how to properly putt. And he just had a great time. And awesome. He made a couple long shots. Like they may have hit off a couple of golf balls and then went in, but he was pretty excited about it. So it was a good time. And this is why I'm doing this kind of stuff. It's like, it's not a legit putting green by any means. I can chip to it and kind of practice and that kind of stuff, but the kids are going to have a great time and it looks cool. Everybody that drives by waves, and it's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Something fun for the neighborhood.
I think that's it's like my putting green isn't, it's sweet and it looks cool. It's not a legit putting green by any
functionality is whatever.
But like when you go outside and the girls are like, oh, I want to go putt. Like, where's my golf club? I want to putt with you. Like, that's so fun.
Right.
Yeah, dude, your kids are gonna have a blast to that.
Dude, and I think we've all played on golf courses before that are like super cheap, like when just actual dog tracks and the greens are like fairways, and you're like, this is so stupid. Why am I putting on this? That's kind of what I'm dealing with, but the kids don't know any different.
Right.
Half the time they're out there trying to throw it in the hole with their hands versus hitting it with a club. So yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. So that's my win and my loss. So yeah. And hey, like we said, we have a fun topic to talk about tonight. Summer. It's not so fun actually, because like there's a lot of bad stuff that happens in summer to cool season grasses. But before we transition into that, we want to talk about a new product that hit the market this year called Spruce. I've had the pleasure of using their product for a handful of months now and seeing the results. And Spruce is a hardworking, worry-free weed and grass killer. And it's a non-selective herbicide for use in places like mulch beds, landscape beds, driveway cracks, and more. This is a non-selective herbicide, so don't use it on your lawn because it will kill your grasses too. That's why it's called a weed and grass killer. And what makes this different is that...
I was going to say, but like what's really cool about this and what caught my eye on it was my family's very big into health, and I've actually really backed down on like what I've been spraying in the lawn, and the ingredients that they use in this is kind of unique. Like it's a
Right.
bunch of like essential oils. There's only like 9 simple ingredients in it, which is safe for, when you use it as directed, it's safe for pets, people, the bees, whatnot.
Big
But
fan of the pollinators here.
it's I told my wife like, oh yeah, there's this new product. She's like, oh great. And I told her, she's like, oh, that's actually good. But yeah, you just apply it to the leaves. And basically it disrupts the ability for the weed itself, or grass, kills weeds and grass, to process the sun, which then kills it from the top down. So you're getting rid of that photosynthesis. You're getting rid of, I wanted to make a funny comment, like a photosynthesizer. You're getting rid of that. And then it kills the grass or weed.
Yeah, and these things work fast too. They say visible results within an hour, which I can attest to, and it can kill in as little as 24 hours. I actually sprayed a bunch of grass and some cracks last night, and within an hour, my wife came and watered some of her potted plants, and a lot of the water actually ran down onto that same grass. And I'm like, great, this is not going to be effective. Well, today, you wouldn't even tell that spot was any different than the other spots, because all the grass is looking fairly brown and wilted and struggling. So can truly attest to it. I've used it in many other spots around my property. My wife was actually one of the people that when I told her about it, she was super excited. She's like, oh my gosh, we can actually spray all the weeds back by the kids' swing set and not have to like worry, because she felt good about the ingredients in this product. It's a real game changer in the weed and grass community. So it's available in an easy aim bottle, is what they call it. Really, it's like you don't even have to bend over. You just point it down at the ground, point and shoot it. Like a spray bottle, like you would any kind of cleaner. It comes in that, and then also a power wand, which is like a battery powered wand it's like a pump sprayer essentially, but it's just battery powered, and it comes with refills that you can easily snap on a new bottle and keep going. So if you guys are looking to clean up your mulch beds, garden beds, landscaping, anything like that you don't have grass, and don't spray this on your nice grass. We're a grass podcast. We don't want anything happen to your grass here, okay? But all those landscape areas, go check out spruceit.com, check out the product for yourself, and get a bottle and try it out. And I think you'll be impressed with it. I mean, it smells pretty good too. Like you said, like a lot of essential oils and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
It's got like a rose fragrance to it.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of roses and fragrances, summer, and everything blooming, everything popping, except for when you don't have water and your lawn starts to die.
Speaking of which, I'm thirsty.
The past few weeks, I think we had like 9 inches of rain in June, or like beginning of June, which we're not even out of June yet.
9 inches?
Dude, it's insane how much rain we've gotten this spring.
Gosh.
And the lawn's looking really good. I'm like, all right, yeah, I can maintain 1 inch Kentucky bluegrass in the armpit of Pennsylvania. Like, and then all of a sudden we just hit this past week, it's been 105, like feels like 105 every day. And now, the edges around the sidewalk, or I don't have sidewalks, but our road, driveway and stuff, they're all starting to check out. Everything's kind of starting to check out. So I know I'm getting a lot of questions about watering lawn. When, how much, how long. So we're going to kind of hit each one of those on this. And there's also a lot of different products that you can get on the market that claim to help with watering, or not necessarily help with watering, but helps with moisture management. So it helps retain moisture or pulls moisture from the atmosphere to help your plant to be able to stay green throughout the summer. But Andrew, what are some of the signs that people should be looking out for to know whether or not they need to be watering the lawn yet?
Yeah, for me, I can tell just by pulling into my driveway at home, the areas in my lawn that are struggling with heat. I feel like sometimes it's easier to stand back at a distance and see these spots versus being close to them and standing on top of them. You're looking for the turf that doesn't like to stand right back up. So if you're going and walking on your grass and you look around, you could see footprints from, 5 minutes ago. You can still see them in the lawn. Or if you put something down on your lawn and then you pick it back up and move it, it just doesn't come back up.
Pinch
Now,
lip.
yeah, and like I said, when I'm pulling in my driveway after work and I'm looking at all these spots going, I got to get water down. I'm looking for areas that are turning like a gray and blue area. When you get right on top of it, the blades of grass are just not the wide, thick blades. They're very needle thin blades. They're kind of wilted, just like they just don't have moisture in them, right? And if your grass is already like dormant, brown, save your water. You're not going to bring back a dormant spot in the middle of summer necessarily. You kind of have something you have to stay on top of as the heat comes into play. I'm not saying don't water your grass at all in the summer. If it goes dormant, you still need to, because you can actually kill it if it doesn't get enough water to even thrive through the summer. So make sure it is getting water, whether it's through rain or you're watering it yourself. If it's not growing, stop mowing. That's a good little term, I guess. It rhymes. I like it.
No hate or no shade on my neighbors that do this, but a lot of people, I'll see them watering at night.
Mm-hmm.
And I know golf courses, they water at night. Well, they also have like
fungicide like crazy.
That and how many acres of watering that they need to cover.
They have to water around the clock.
They're watering at night. But for residential, if you can control it, early morning waterings are absolutely the best time to be doing any watering. A couple reasons why. Evenings, afternoons, you tend to have more wind. It's hotter, and then the big thing is the grass, or the water's actually going to sit on the grass blades overnight. This is going to increase the chance of fungus, and we talked about the whole disease triad in a couple episodes ago, so go take a look at that if you're already dealing with some fungal issues, and kind of how to prevent them and take care of the fungus in there. So anytime you're leaving moisture sit on your grass blade longer than it needs to, you're giving it that increased risk of fungus. And then you're going to have to be putting down more products and stuff. So early mornings, it's calmer, and it's cooler. And then the nice little perk with watering in the mornings is then you're knocking off that dew, which could have some residual fungal stuff kind of hanging out in the dews there. So when you wash that off your grass, it's actually going to help prevent fungus from rising up. So those are some of the kind of the easiest things to remember. How often do you water coming into the summer?
I'll tell you in just a second, because you reminded me of something from this past weekend. I watched Happy Gilmore when I was on my golf trip with the boys. So many good one-liners. I mean, we were just playing card games and just reciting them all. Well, the old 9th green at 9 trick, where Happy shows up on the 9th green, and then the sprinklers show up. He got duped into it. So we were talking about watering at night on golf courses, and the 9th green at 9 came to mind. As far as how often do I water, I aim for as little as possible. I like to calculate how much rain we got. I have a nice rain station or weather station that tells me exactly how much water we got, because like the goal is to get 1 to 1.5 inches of water per week. And so if you get a lot of rain, you can cut back as many times, a few times watering each week. But let's just say you don't get any rain. I would aim for 2 to 3 times a week to water, with the end goal of 1 to 1.5 inches. And just water as much as you're able to. I understand that I'm fortunate that I'm on a well, so I don't pay for water. A lot of people do pay for water. Some people like to conserve water. I understand that.
A lot of people have some expensive water bills.
Yeah. So do what you can, do what you're comfortable with. We understand that, your lawns are not the most important thing financially in your world. So do what you can. But if you guys want to know how much water you're putting down, you can do the cup test or the tuna can test, where you put down cups across your lawn and run your irrigation and just measure the water in those cups. And when you hit about, like, let's say you hit 1/4 of an inch with a tape measure in your cups, just do a little calculation to figure out how long you have to run your irrigation to get 1/2 inch. So let's say it took 15 minutes to get 1/4 inch. That means it would take 30 minutes to get a full 1/2 inch, and then do that 3 times a week. There's your 1.5 inches. So it takes a little bit of, fine tuning and kind of like figuring out your system. But if you're serious about it and you want to make sure that irrigation's dialed in, it's a pretty easy thing to do. Just crack a beer and move some cups around your yard with the measuring tape. Everybody will think you're the weird guy in the neighborhood. So
yeah, I mean,
they already know I am.
Even if you fire up your irrigation for the first time, it's always good just to make sure everything's working as it needs to be.
Oh, absolutely. Coverage is good.
Yeah. Take a look, do an audit of your coverage, see that you still only need 15-20 minutes for X amount of water. That way you just know exactly how dialed in you are. And if you don't have irrigation, just like the signs that Andrew was talking about, if it still looks green, then don't water it. Just let it ride. But don't let it get too far. Once you start seeing those early signs of some dehydration, start getting some water down on it. And especially like this today and the previous day, actually pretty funny. I thought I was irrigating my front yard for the past like 3 weeks. And I went to do a mid-afternoon watering. Yeah, that's right. I was going to water in the mid-afternoon. It's called syringing. I was going to do a little syringing. And what that is basically you...
Sounds dirty.
It's not. It's very clean. You turn your irrigation on for like 5 minutes, just so it can go around the cycle like 1 or 2 times, just to wet the turf a little bit. And that cools it down. The water on the grass doesn't make the grass be magnified and burn. That's not true. But it does cool the turf down a little bit. Just like if you spray water on a hot driveway, you're going to cool that driveway down. Same concept with your grass. But turn it on. I'm like, why is this darn irrigation not working? This is so frustrating. I was like, my Wi-Fi is fine. What is the issue? And then I remembered when we had like 3 inches in 30 minutes, I had water coming in through one of these area in my basement, and I thought my water main broke. So I turned off my irrigation. Just like, that's right. So I just haven't been watering for the past 3 weeks, and it's been really hot. But the Nightfall Kentucky bluegrass actually has been holding up pretty well. But I did finally turn it back on, and we've been doing some syringing. And you by the road, man, it is just cooking. It is hot.
Yeah. And one thing I don't think, well, actually, never mind. We are going to talk about it later. But one thing I do want to mention is we talked about irrigation coverage and making sure you're getting good coverage. You may have good irrigation coverage, but you will find that there are just hot spots throughout your lawn, just random spots. I get them a lot in my side yard. It's a huge pain in my butt, but it can
you get hot spots on your butt.
Yeah. It's even worse in the side yard. But like my side yard's such a pain because an old gravel driveway is underneath it, and they just covered it with a few inches of topsoil. And some of the areas must be like not as much topsoil as the others because I have just little sections, and they're usually pretty consistent. And I've tried to top dress those a little bit over the years, but I just know I got to get the hand sprinkler out. Even though I'm running my in-ground irrigation, the coverage is pretty good. You're still going to have these spots. So if you want to keep everything green, you're going to have to be moving a sprinkler around a little bit, and that's okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Have you used any of the products that actually that they claim to?
Yeah. So Hydratane, it's one of those products that Vince was saying. It works by attracting, condensing atmospheric moisture.
Big words.
I had the T in the M. Flipped around. Atmospheric moisture into droplets, and then the plant's actually able to use that. So like the humidity in the air, I think is what that means, right? It kind of just pulls out some of that moisture and is able to use it. And so you use these products like prior to drought. If it's already in the middle of drought, probably not going to be as effective. You can still put them down, but Hydratane, I used to use that a few years ago. It comes in a granular and also comes in a liquid that you can spray. I would always use the liquid. I think I found it to be cheaper to do it that way. But the one that I'm using fairly regularly now, the past couple of years, is Hydra Charge from the Andersons.
Mm.
And that's like multiple surfactants. That's supposed we don't have it on our list of stuff here, so I don't have the ins and outs of it, but I have found that actually works pretty well for me. I apply that usually at the beginning of the summer and middle of the summer, and then by the end of the summer, it seems to be helping. And I've done it on my project lawn too, with results. It's not going to blow your socks off, but I think if you applied it to half your yard and left the other half without it, I think you would visually see a difference and probably see that half needs water more than the other.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
what have you used?
I mean, I think humic does something. I've done some like sea kelp and stuff. I've gone years where I ran it and turfed it great, and I've done it a year where I was like, you know what, this is just, as they say, brown water. And I think I did notice a little bit of a difference in turf quality and stuff, and just drought tolerance. So far this year I haven't put anything down, but there is another one. I actually just bought these. It's from Site One, called Moisture Manager, and it's essentially the same product. And then there's also a Collagel. They call this one Foreplay because they use a whole bunch of different things in there. I guess they add some sea kelp and non-ionic surfactant in there as well. And basically it's all just doing the same thing. Everyone has their own brand. Look at the pricing, whatever fits your budget, go ahead and throw that down. I think if you're throwing something down in time, I think it will help. I wouldn't go like crazy and just like be like, oh, I need to apply this every 2 weeks. I don't know. Unless you can show me like a good before and after. I think they all basically do the same thing, and I think they're just going to give you a little bit extra boost going into the hottest parts of the year.
Yeah, and I feel like these are the kind of products where, like, if you don't have money to throw at your lawn, this is probably something you don't reach for necessarily, right? You're not just going to go and spend money to do an extra 2 applications a year to hopefully get a little bit of less watering done.
Wow, we have
a guest,
a soccer star on here.
Oh wow, that's how the games went, huh, Chris? Chris is here, everybody. He just
Hello.
joined us.
What's up, everybody?
Hear the
Hi,
chorus
Chris.
cracking.
We're still doing the podcast. You made it.
Well, hi, everybody. Hope everyone's. Is
talking
everyone
about
watering well?
Yeah, we're talking about products that help you through the summer right now. We're almost done with that.
Water.
Well, water helps.
We didn't even hit on that one.
Oh, I should apply that.
Oh, that thing. Well, yeah, keep going. Don't let me interrupt you.
Yeah,
well, basically, we were just going to get into some bonus tips about all the good things. Andrew, you want to start us off with some like mowing tips?
Yeah, and just real quick, I'd like to hit on a lot of these products we just talked about. Like, you don't need a backpack spray. Like, a lot of them come in a hose-on sprayer, or you can put them in like those easy ortho hose dial sprayers too. So like the hose-on stuff. So you don't really need to be super, consistent with your spraying. It's just like get it down on the lawn and make it happen. But bonus tip number 1, raise the HOC. What is that? Height of cut. That is the height of cut of your lawn. You're going to want to cut a little bit taller. It's going to help shade the roots of the plants. And it's just going to make your lawn not be so thirsty. I almost look at my lawn the past week and like, it's almost like ugly shaggy, but it's consistently tall. I'm just mowing it at like 3.5, 4 inches, which is very tall for me. And I'll tell you what, though, it looks nice and lush and green. I haven't been watering very much at all. Almost surprisingly, not much at all. And
that's what I've been doing too.
It's the height of cut raise. It's been crazy. So
yeah, but when you real mow at 1 and 1.5 inch, you can go up a 1/4 of an inch because you can only mow so tall with a real mower. It just kind of locks you in.
That part of my yard is a different story. I'm talking about my
You're just
normal.
bracing the suck and getting ready for it.
Right.
It's all relative, right? 3 inches to whatever you raise it. Yeah. It's kind of percentage based. I don't know if that's accurate or not.
But you can only go so high when you real mow. So yeah. Speaking of real mowing, planting some good grass seed if you want to real mow.
Or not.
One of the best things you can do is put good grass seed down. So make sure you're looking at buying something that's like known for your region, your zone. Find something that's drought tolerant. And if you don't know what you're looking for, Twin City Seed has a few blends that are TWCA certified, which basically is a turf grass water conservation alliance. And some of these blends, basically some of these grasses and the blends, the cultivars can reduce water demand by like 40%, is what the Twaka was saying. And there's if you don't know which blends they are, there's always like a little label that comes on the grass bag itself, but then also on the website there's a label that says TWCA certified, and it's on all the bags that have the cultivars that meet this criteria. So one of them being Fielder's Choice, which Andrew has, and I plant. It's a 100% perennial ryegrass. There's some in there that are TWCA certified. So just look at what you're planting. If you know that you're hot, dry summers, then go for something along those lines that have these certifications that are known to be drought tolerant. That's going to help you also save some water.
I was actually just thinking about that when I came home from my golf trip. I was gone for 3 full days and I didn't water a single time. It didn't rain at all. And before that, I was kind of babying it, hand watering it here and there. And I let it go and it was hot. And I came home and I was like, oh, good. We're doing good. I think I can kind of cut back on what I was doing. And I was like, I'm really surprised there isn't some spots that are a little dried out here. And then I started thinking, I'm like, this is a TWCA grass seed. And I think that actually that's helping a lot. And this is 6-week-old grass. Yeah. And it's doing well in the 90-degree heat.
I think you prepped really well for it too, though, right? I mean, with preventatives and like all of that kind of stuff. And like,
I got fungicides and stuff, but I mean, we're talking about just surviving the summer heat and stuff like that. Like I haven't put down any of those products we talked about. All I put down is some fertilizer applications and one fungicide preventative. That's all I did.
It's interesting because like you were on a 3-day golf trip. I was gone for just a little bit longer than you. Ironically, like 30 minutes away from you, and we just never found a chance to get together
in the same spot
in northern Michigan. But it's like I came back and kind of got hit a little bit. Guess what I didn't do? Didn't prepare very well. And it was like, it's just one of those things. And we talk about it with perennial ryegrass all the time. Like every grass species is susceptible to something, right? And new perennial ryegrass susceptible to a lot. But yeah, for sure. I mean, the cultivar and the quality obviously have something to say for it, for sure. There's no doubt about it. That label you were talking about, Vince, is bright orange. In case you don't want to go digging for it. It's just a giant orange label on the bag.
I thought it was blue. Maybe
mine was purple.
Blue certified. It is? Oh, maybe they're different colors now. But mine have always been orange.
I have a picture somewhere. Actually, it's still in the bag outside.
I think like the emblem inside's blue or purple, but the actual thing's orange. But
well, maybe they changed it.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I guess the only other really thing is, you have the claims of thrower down and tons of fertilizer. Just slow down. Slow down.
Slow down now.
Slow down on your fertilizer.
Are you a sheep shipper?
My
name is Dolph. I ship the sheep.
That's a funny movie.
Okay, so I was wrong. It's red. It's like a red color. I don't know if you guys can see it in this video.
There's one across in my hallway.
Come on. But anyways, it's red.
Great radio for people listening. Not in.
It's orange, Christian. We're far.
All right.
And
anyway,
blue in the middle.
Chill out on the fertilizer. Less chance of burning. Less chances that you're going to need it most so frequently, and just you're not going to stress the turf out as much. But yeah,
you hit your funny bone.
The not so funny bone, as I like to call it. Yeah.
Chris, do you have any last words of wisdom on this episode?
I have no idea what you guys talked about prior to this, so this might be.
What's the most important thing you would say about summer?
Watering at the right time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we talked about that.
Okay. So. Watering at the right time, sharp
Imagine
blades,
that we talked
and
about
everything
watering.
you just said. You guys covered it perfectly.
Well, make sure everyone you go take a look at thelawnfeed.com. Check out some of the amazing lawn gear to elevate your set of lawn shirts, sweatshirts, and more. We had a lot of sales during Father's Day. which is pretty cool. And still, we haven't seen anyone really using the promo code Brad15. That's 15% off your order. So go take a look at it. Get yourself some goodies. 4th of July is coming up. We have an American flag lawn shirt on there, so get you some. On behalf of the entire Lawn Feed crew now, thanks that Chris hopped on. Thank you for joining us for another great episode. Stay safe out there. Good luck with this week's venture of parenthood, and we'll catch you in the next time. See ya.
Bye-bye. See you guys.